The farm, it's not just something that we can receive something from, but it's really like, it's an overall like a living organism, right? And so the more we can think of it as a living, functioning organism, the better and healthier the soil, the better and healthier the crops, the better and healthier the people who are working on the land are going to be, and also, the end product is going to be healthier. My name is Christian Zuckerman. I am the farm manager at KAHUMANA Organic Farms. I actually wasn't planning on being a farmer. I've always known I've wanted to do farming at one point in time. That's been like, I've always known like at some point in the future I would like to farm. I was actually born in Austria, and my family moved here to Hawaii and to KAHUMANA when I was 3.5. So I actually grew up here on this farm, and this has been my childhood, I guess most of my adulthood also. I graduated and I was actually planning on staying on the mainland, and came back for the summer, and the farmer that who was here at the time, he was moving on, and they hadn't know like someone replacement, and sort of asked me to jump in for, I think it was like 2 months. They wanted me to jump in for 2 months, and then that sort of turned 2 months to a year, and here we are 8 years later. KAHUMANA Organic Farms, we are a certified organic farms. We were founded in 1974. It originally started in Makiki, and then in 1978 they moved out to this property. We grow a variety of different crops. A lot of baby salad greens. Our organic cake of greens mix is sort of our signature crop. We grow, in any given week, we're doing about 500 to 600 pounds of this every week. And we can grow that 52 weeks out of the year. So it grows really fast, from seeding to first cut is only like 3 weeks. So it goes really quickly. Dogs, behave yourselves, Ruva. And this is like the salad for, it was this week's salad, and then this over here on the right side, you can sort of see it looks a little smaller. That's like next week's salad. Lots of salad. We do a lot of root crops. Carrots are another one of our main, our cash crops, so to say. It's also one of my favorite crops that we grow. Yeah, we do purple carrots also. We used to do a lot of other different varieties too, but now it's like, everyone wants orange carrots, so grow what the people want. We do beets, kales, chard, bok choys, choy sum, pak choy. We do quite a lot of dill, cilantro. Trying to see if I'm missing anything. The kales, brassicas, collards. So yeah, quite a variety of different crops throughout the year. Within the farm, we have sort of 3 distinct sort of areas. We have sort of the production end of the farm, and we have our farm hub and food hub, and then we sort of have our educational outreach program.
My name is Saleh Azizi, and I'm the farm hub manager here at KAHUMANA, and I'm also the coordinator for community development. We're not just running another business out here. For us, this is the way that we want the world to look like. We want to promote sustainable and regenerative agriculture.
So our food hub, we actually launched it about 3 years ago.
We're trying to build a whole community of farmers here. So we want to be a place where future farmers can train. We want to be a place where our neighbors who are farmers can come and share in the opportunities that we have through our food hub. Through KAHUMANA and the Hawaii Farmers Union, we've been able to create this network of food hubs all over the state. And a lot of people don't even know what a food hub is. And the way we like to explain what it is that it's basically a center out here in rural but also urban areas that allow growers to come and share in the opportunity of the sales.
I had a couple friends in the area who would bring their excess crops to us and be like, hey, can you help me find a home for this? I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll take it to farmer's market, or I'll ask this restaurant if they are interested in getting it. And it just started happening more and more. And at one point I was like, wait a second, we should do this. There's obviously a need for it. And so yeah, that's when we launched the KAHUMANA Farm Hub.
For every dollar that we make, 70 cents goes to the grower. And that's how we try to set a new example for who makes the money in the food system. What's the share of the dollar or the food dollar that the farmers receive? And in conventional food systems, it's about 10 cents a dollar. And we're trying to get that up to 70 cents with our food hub. So that's one of the really good things that we've been able to do.
For every pound of food that we're bringing in through the farm hub or the food hub, it's one less pound that we're going to have to import from the mainland. So that's like one guiding principle for the hub. But the other one is really that it's providing an economic stimulus for the Waianae community. Small-scale farmers, backyard growers, or kupuna farmers, farmers who, they're elderly, they still have the passion for farming, but they might not want to deal with the logistics of having to harvest and process and connect with a market. So we will take on that responsibility. Here we are on CSA morning. The whole week has sort of been working towards this time.
CSA means Community Supported Agriculture, and it really started many years ago as a way for the community to come in and take some of the burden off of the farmers. So basically they bought these pre-ordered shares and were able to pay the farmers early in the year, and then later in the year they got their boxes and their produce, and they had supplied the farmer with some financing to be able to do all of that.
When I first started, I was definitely, the farm was sort of a smaller scale, like sort of market garden that was primarily growing food for our cafe and also a small CSA program and like one farmer's markets a week. And then, over the years, with the expansion to our new property up the road, they added the extra 24 acres to our farm. We've cleared, now we have probably 6 to 8 acres in field production. We have 300-400 fruit trees planted up there. This is our citrus orchard. All these citrus have been planted in the last 2 years, and we're just starting to get our first fruit, so it's very exciting. So here behind me you got some Meyer lemons. It's the thing with lemons. Sometimes if you wait for them to turn yellow, like people think they're supposed to look, the bugs tend to get them. Like they get stung by fruit flies. We're not doing per se like agroforestry, but we're using a lot of fruit trees and in our system, and just having that creating that space for that, creates a much healthier biological life. We are production-based. We produce a lot of food. Last season I think we brought in about 80,000. We grew about 80,000 pounds of produce. This year I'm expecting to be closer to 100,000. So we have these very sort of we have these we got to plant on this day. We have to get this many row feet of carrots planted every month, to sort of meet these guidelines. But however, everything we do and the design of the overall farm is having these permaculture principles to guide us. Rather than just clearing all 24 acres flat as can be so we can lay in very efficient lines of irrigation, we want to actually work with the contours of the land, see how the land is naturally forming, and then try to mimic that, so that when it does flood, we're actually working with the natural landscape so that our fields don't get washed away. Simple things like that where, it seems like once you sort of analyze the logic, it's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense, but a lot of times it's not thought of until after the fact.
My name's Travis. I'm a farmer here at KAHUMANA, and farmers often wear many hats. I wear many hats. A couple of the specialized things that I do are raise and building our animal program, so sheep and pigs. I also administer our marketing and sales for our CSA direct-to-consumer program. And then I also do what every farmer does, go out and do the harvest and the wash and the processing and the packing. I've been working at KAHUMANA for over 3 years now, in agriculture for maybe 5 years. What attracted me to KAHUMANA is it's this amazing history of an infrastructure and this playground, launching pad for if someone has an idea, they can do it. And we're very, at the same time, for being such an older organization, to be so agile and to adjust to things as they come up.
We used to mainly supply grocery stores, hotels, and restaurants.
In April, we were working with about 80 different restaurants across the island. Chefs Leanne Wong at Cocoa Head Cafe, Monkey Pod and Merriman's, the Town Tribe with Ed Kenny and his restaurants. So, you know, we've created this relationship that we've, you know, sort of built over the years. You know, we've sold to some retail stores, Down to Earth, Foodland, Whole Foods, our local grocery stores here in Waianae. Had a very small CSA program of about 5 to 10 members, you know, just had a pickup here at the farm for some loyal members who've been with us for many years. And then, you know, it all sort of quickly changed, as we all know. You know, come, what was it, end of March, I think within a week, we lost all of our restaurant business. And, you know, that was 80 restaurants that went from 1 week ordering full to the next, this uncertainty of, you know, being closed during the lockdown. And, you know, for us, there was definitely it was a little worrisome, to put it lightly.
So we had this point in March where it's like, we have no business, what are we going to do? What's the change?
We really didn't quite know what we were gonna do, because close to 90% of our income was just taken out.
Because, you know, in March, that's sort of at the peak of our production, because we have this sort of offset like production to like the mainland, where in the winter months when it's cooler, that's our peak production. So we were right at that height where we had, you know, fields and fields of like produce that was in the ground, ready for harvest. You know, we were ready to go and like just didn't know what to do. We were at a loss, you know, and that's when we sort of decided to start doing these CSA, or expand the CSA. I think it started off with my friend Matt Lynch. He's also our board president. He's like, hey, I can come out on Friday if you want to make like 20 or 40 extra CSAs, and we'll just do a social media post and see who wants to buy them, we'll home deliver them. It's like, oh yeah, sure, let's try it out. And I think within like an hour, we had sold like 40 CSAs. And, you know, then we're like, you know, after that went pretty well, we're like, okay, maybe this is sort of what we should do. Within a few weeks, you know, we went from 5-10 CSA members to close to 300-400 members a week. And that's really been the focus over the last, you know, 4 to 5 months, is making that pivot to going from a sort of a farm-to-table restaurant model to this very much CSA operation.
KAHUMANA was really fortunate to be part of a grant with the Hawaii Farmers Union, and the Farmers Union hired me as a food hub coordinator. And so what we did early on is that we connected all the food hubs across the islands, and we didn't quite know the value of that until COVID hit. We were able to bring produce from Maui and from Big Island, where they grow much more food than what is grown on Oahu, but we have the market here, so we were able to share that with our food hubs and farmers on the other islands through our food hub here.
And, you know, we're fortunate that, you know, because KAHUMANA has been around for so long, you know, 45 years, you know, we have this sort of like built-in infrastructure that, you know, has allowed us to sort of overcome some of these challenges that, you know, that have came up over the years. With the COVID thing, you know, it's really, our biggest challenge right now is sort of the capacity and infrastructure, just to be able to get the food out. And, you know, yeah, you know, the amount of like cold storage, that's like, you know, being able to, with the hub is bringing in 6 to 8 pallets a week from outer islands. That's just from the outer islands, not including all of our farmers that we're working with here. And, you know, that all still goes into the same 2 fridges that the farm has been operating under for the past 5 years. So if you go look in our fridge, like right now, because it's CSA day, you can barely walk. It's like, people look in there and like, how do you figure this out? Like, it's like, oh, there is an order to the madness, and by tomorrow morning, it's all gonna be stacked and towered, and it's like at the end of Friday, it's gonna be empty. So, you know, but just to deal with that, like that's a weekly challenge that we have to address.
For me personally, the draw is it's an amazing lifestyle that's accessible to people that people aren't aware of outside of the norm of this scarcity mindset in the cities. And also it's a political action rather than just saying, hey, the system doesn't work. This global model that we have that has 40 billion animals in concentrated animal feeding operations, and we're seeing the effects in the environment. Rather than just say, hey, that's wrong, or try to vote someone in office, take some action. So we're out here participating in this new system by growing certified organic food, and also helping to build the new system by serving as a regional farm hub, online purchasing platform, and distribution center. So it's pretty exciting what we're doing. It's more than just growing food, but we're trying to build a new system when the old systems may be in danger of falling apart.
There's a lot of farmers in Hawaii that are doing amazing work to sort of address this. You know, it's like we're not growing food to ship somewhere else. We're really trying to keep it here. We're focusing local. We're trying to grow the most nutrient-dense food that we can, the healthiest food for our communities. And, you know, so people who are doing that, you know, those are the heroes to me.